talking to. And you is needed, otherwise you will not be invited back. This is Perk's big list of MVPs, top 5 MVPs 25-26 season. Coming thought he was finished. Hold on, wait a minute. Hey, listen, this man, MVP, Finals MVP, NBA champion. He's not satisfied. He's going to come back next year on a mission. He wants more. The best player in the world. Yeah, David, I said the best player in the world has embraced it. He got the feeling. He got the energy. You know how it feels to become a champion and an MVP. He's going to try to go out there and do what he needs to do to keep that trophy in Oklahoma City in his house. David, I need you for number 4. Bring the energy now.
The first round of
You're already wrong, but bam, I let you get number 4 out too. Go.
No God, good friend who he won a championship at Bron. I believe Jokic is going to come back with new life, new energy, which is scary for the rest of the league. The man already finished second last year. He's going to try to go win him another one.
We'll be hearing from Allie LaForce from the sideline. Now let's take a look at Toronto's starting lineup. They've got Joel Embiid, and it's Parker, and at the point,
I'll get to you. Bam! Let's see who's number 3.
they've got James.
Anthony Edwards. You heard what he said when he exited the Western Conference Finals in the postseason? He said no one is going to outwork him. And I believe him. I believe this man is going to come back. I believe he's going to average 30 next season. I believe he's going to be on a mission. He was embarrassed in the Western Conference Finals. And we know how a man like Anthony Edwards thrives when adversity hits, when accountability hits. He always comes back stronger. And that's what he has. I need that number 2.
My first time. Bam!
Gasol did not stop moving his hands there, especially as the shot was going up. He's going to be right there to send anything back if it's close.
There you go. Giannis Antetokounmpo. David, you want him out of Milwaukee, but he's staying in Milwaukee. The Bucks want him in Milwaukee. Did you see what Giannis was doing at the end of the season last year? The man was putting up Jokic-type numbers.
Oh, my God.
He had 20 assists in the game last season. I'm looking for the growth of Giannis this year. He's going to elevate, make guys around him better while still going out there and getting his 30 points. Ooh, I said it the other day, I'm saying it now. Skinny, look at that. He's engaged. He felt disrespected. The Mavs gave up on him. They traded him. There was a lot of off-season noise, criticism. A lot of it came from me about how he couldn't defend. Now all of a sudden we're getting engaged, disrespected movement that's holding himself accountable. Again, this is my list. This is not anybody else's list. This is Big Perk's list, and y'all all want to invite us back.
I really appreciate the amount of effort and energy you put
It must be hot in here then.
You're straight sweating after doing that part. God bless. What? That was great.
Yeah.
You know what I like? I like that David was an early hater of the list. He was right at Perk and he said you're already wrong. So David, what say you about his list?
This is history here. This is the first time Perk's list has been completely in reverse order of what it should be. Like you got 5-1 is actually the way it's supposed to go. SGA should be the favorite to repeat. The Thunder are going to be better. SGA is better this year. I think that he's got the best shot to repeat as MVP. Perk's list was perfect and put in front of a mirror and go SGA, then Jokic, then Giannis, and then Luka being at number 5. And Luka needs to be on the list for the Lakers to be remotely competitive. I'm with you that we need an MVP caliber Luka. I'm not sure if he's going to be MVP caliber above SGA. At least SGA was on the list.
New York
Perk,
shooting their
you're
first
not there. Go ahead, Perk.
No, go ahead. What you were saying?
Perk, you're not a Jalen Brunson fan. Everybody knows it. The kids would say you are a Jalen Brunson fan. How is Jalen Brunson not on your list?
He's in the honorable mention.
No, there you go.
67. He just didn't make the top 5. But David, when was the last time that we had a back-to-back MVP?
Jokic do it. Steph did it 2 years ago.
Lucas in general at back.
It usually happens. It usually happens when you have dynastic Warriors 2.0 in terms of going back to back. So thank you, Bert, for helping me make the case that the SGA should be, at the top of your list. There you go.
I didn't even make nothing. I didn't even make nothing. My list is set.
All right, so the softball MVP guy, I'll weigh in on Perk's list. So this year's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, the last 2 years, Jokic and Shea have been first and second, split flop back and forth. I think both of them are going to have real chances to win. I understand why you have Anthony Edwards on the list, Perk. I don't think Minnesota is going to be good enough for Anthony Edwards to be in the mix. And Luka Doncic playing on the Lakers is not just going to get a ton of attention. The Lakers have a fair league supporting cast from he and LeBron. If the Lakers are in the 50-plus win range and Luka is playing like he did 2 years ago before he had all the injuries and everything last year, Luka's going to have a shot. And the other guy that I think we should see in this conversation that has not been mentioned is Victor Wembanyama. If the Spurs are a top 16 or in the mix to be a top 16 in the Western Conference this year, it's going to be because Victor Wembanyama is going to have an absolutely gigantic season. And these awards are all about narrative. And Victor is going to have a lot of juice behind him. The only other thing I'll add, but that's to mention Jalen Brunson before, whether it's Jalen Brunson or whether it's Donovan Mitchell or one of the other guys on the cast, those two teams are going to win a ton of games in the Eastern Conference. I would expect guys from those two teams will be in the mix here.
Track business mileage with the QuickBooks mobile app. And automatically track your potential mileage deduction.
Go away. How you look? How you living? I seen you earlier. You back again. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. How you living? How you living?
Back to Lillard.
Today.
Out left to the wing. 6 on the shot clock. Hastings misses.
No, he's little as fuck. How you
Buying, selling, storing crypto, be in control of your money with daily raise, fast trading, and withdrawals. The safest place for your crypto. Set automatic recurring buys and learn how to earn rewards while you sleep with stable. Whether you're doing crypto or building your portfolio, Gemini asks for you. Install Gemini now and start trading today.
Defensively, you have to stay as connected as you possibly can. For Damian Lillard, he's just too good with the ball. That leads to a foul.
And let's quickly check out the scoring
Welcome to NBA Today. I'm Vanessa Richardson, and of course from Malika Andrews. I'm joined here in our LA studio by senior writers in Boston. We've got senior writer David Dennis Jr. and of course NBA champ, my guy. Shout out to H-Down, Kendrick Perkins. Hi, Perk.
Ball movement. Guys have been open.
H-Town in the building.
You already know.
H-Town in the picture. Yeah.
You already know.
Like, we gonna be calling. Like, what you doing now? You know, you're home tonight. We calling in a minute.
You're the best, Perk. All right, and as everybody knows, it may be July, but the NBA doesn't sleep. So let's get to the question, and that is, what on earth is going on in the Bay? The Warriors made that big move after the 2025 trade deadline, acquiring Jimmy Butler. It paid off immediately. The Warriors went 22-5 down the stretch with Butler and Curry in the lineup. And yeah, I carried over round one as Perk and I both know the Warriors put down the second to the Rockets in a hard-fought 7-game series, but the run ended in round 2 when Curry's game 1 hamstring knocked him out for the rest of the series. And the Warriors have followed that up by making zero acquisitions with NBA experience this offseason. All other NBA teams have made at least a move now, 3.5 weeks into free agency.
Outside Harden.
And we now welcome in our senior insider, Sham Saraya, who is in Miami. Sham, why has it been such a slow start to the offseason for the Warriors?
Vanessa, the Warriors' entire offseason has been essentially on pause for one player, and that's the restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga, and they have wanted to figure out his situation before making the other offseason moves. And so I saw Jonathan Kuminga this morning at a workout in Miami. He's in good spirits. He had a good workout. He did tell me, though, that he is in absolutely no rush to do a deal with the Warriors right now, and he's not accepting their current offers. He added that he wants to continue to explore options with his agent Eric Turner, whether that's continued conversations with the Warriors, but also started trade options that are available for the market.
Okay, Sean, so you used the term options. What do those other options for Jonathan Kuminga look like?
I'm told the Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings are two teams that have made concrete offers with the Warriors in the last week or so. They're two more aggressive teams with Kuminga, and they're also offering him an opportunity for significant minutes, a starting caliber role in their lineup.
And let's get you back to the action as Game 2 is getting underway. And a very convincing performance from the Raptors so far.
Yeah, showing grit on the glass is a good way to gain an advantage. They controlled the boards in the first.
Well, if you get physical out there, you can control the glass, and that helps you to control the pace of the game.
We've got Carmelo Anthony, Damian Lillard out there with Klay Thompson, and it's Hastings in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. That's the group for New York starting the second. Here's Mashburn. Sigma with a rebound.
We'll have a hard time shaking that one off. Perfect position, plenty of space. Just clanked it.
Here's DeBusschere. And it's New York with a rebound. And with their last victory, this team reached the 50-win mark on the season.
And they should be proud of what they've been able to accomplish. You can't just luck your way into 50 wins. You got to be a good team to reach that feat.
Anthony Edwards just checked in for New York. And the Raptors making a change here. There's a whistle. That goes on Carmelo Anthony. That's his first foul of the game.
Second team foul.
Lillard against Irving. Pass to DeBusschere. Irving up top. Pulls it from the top of the key.
Well, he typically carries such a heavy load on offense. Lillard shows the energy to get it done on defense as well.
And there is the whistle. That goes on Damian Lillard. That's foul number 2 for him. Raptors lead by 12. Irving with it. Inside. And he takes the feed in stride and slams it home.
Really tough to predict what Kyrie is going to do because he's so special playing out of pick and roll.
And timeout is called by Tom Thibodeau. Coach wants to speak to his guys, maybe alter some of the game plan. They're going to turn it over. They couldn't get it inbound and allow any points in the second quarter.
How about Melo rising up quick to that one there? Nice shot block.
Now here's Edwards. No points yet. To the inside. And stolen by Anthony.
Home State at some point this summer that both gives them the ability to do something a bit later and also gives them the ability to build on that play he had at the end of that coach step on the court, which the first point showed what he can do and gives them, I think, some reason to come into next season if he's there saying we need to try to find a way to showcase what this guy can do, either so he can have him improve with us or we can have him improve us by moving him in the trade somewhere else.
Value depends on so much, right? Like value depends what the market looks like. So David, what is Jonathan Kuminga's actual value in free agency and on the Warriors?
Well, that's the tricky thing, right? I mean, for the Warriors, I think that they have to figure this Jonathan Kuminga thing out because that is the difference between being sort of in the middle of this, log jam at the bottom of the Western Conference or being an actual contender. Like, I think that they have you know, the zero move is alarming for some people, but
Pass to Edwards.
and then you have the idea that Kuminga is going to, you cannot have a gaping hole of Jonathan Kuminga not being on this team or whatever they're trying to get back from. The problem is, as Tim has alluded to, this team is 0-7 in the playoffs. He's played more than 20 minutes, but his value is to the Golden State Warriors is that they need a guy who can fill in those gaps, who can get those rebounds, who can play defense, who can fill in different positions. He has not quite been able to do that, and part of that is Steve Kerr, as Perk said, has been pulling the plug on Kuminga a little bit too early and not allowing him to fix that. So the Knicks has been really kind of a mess, and Steve Kerr really had to take on the leadership and say, how can I figure out this Kuminga situation this year? Because, again, he is the difference between giving a little bit more room in this window for the Warriors this season and this thing being another early exit.
Well, speaking of the Warriors, the championship, we always with dynasties talk about windows, right? So Kendrick Perkins, is their championship window still open?
And so he draws the foul, headed to the
It's
line.
still open. I believe it's still there. Anytime you have Steph Curry, you have Jimmy Butler. We saw how they elevated their game last postseason before the injury happened. And Draymond Green, he still has the ability to, you know, a great defender and anchor their defense. I love what I saw out of Pajelski last postseason. I thought towards the end of the season and the postseason he started to grow. But again, this Jonathan Kuminga space, you know, this Jonathan Kuminga situation, you need a guy like this. You need athleticism at the wing position. When you look at the top two teams in my eyes, the Western Conference, you look at Oklahoma City, obviously they just won the NBA championship, and then you're looking at the Houston Rockets. They keep loading up on the wing position. I ain't talking about Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm talking about bodies. That's how important it is. Athleticism is the most important position in the damn NBA, and they have
championship window in the West is because there's a team that just won 68 games and won the title in the West and had 2 players older than 27 on their roster. So I think there's a very small window for just about anybody in the West to win the title right now, including Golden State. However, the Warriors did go 22-5 with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry down the stretch. They do.
Oh my God,
Steph has always given them under a lot of trouble. If they can't get to the playoffs healthy, I do think they have a chance to make a run. But again, right now to me, it's Oklahoma City and everybody else out left.
Left side, Harden.
Yeah, that window is closing very fast. There's 2 little light-skinned hands right there on the window pane, keeping it open. That's Steph Curry. The fact that this dude is still a top 5 player in this league. And you've got to remember, as you said at the very beginning, he is one hamstring injury away, possibly from being in that conference finals against that Thunder team. I am not going to be doing anything that counts this dude out, but the Warriors need to figure some of these things out in the margin.
Yes, nigga, stop it.
They can't be able to end his career, maybe to be playoff.
One of the worst things to add, at some point this offseason, I was trying to think of anything that's sorted out. I think it's very likely how Horford lines up with Golden State Warriors. People help them an awful lot whenever that gets done, assuming everything gets cleared up with Jonathan.
My guy Perk looks confused by DDJ's point. Perk, do you disagree?
If you want to do some kind of
David just said that Steph Curry is still, David just said that Steph Curry is a top 5 player in the NBA, and Tim said Oklahoma City and everybody else, like the Rockets, didn't get Kevin Durant. They finished second in the Western Conference.
I think the Rockets
without Kevin Durant, and now the Rockets have Kevin Durant. Trust me, I hear you.
Rockets are going to be quite good. Don't worry.
Here's Carter.
Wait there, present. Dining table and a chair. Make the trash guy. Your seat. However, there's $250. Amazing. Shop dining furniture for way less at Wayfair.
Here's Hastings. Here he goes. Drops in the layup for 2. Hastings has got 6.
Hey, they're just getting pushed around inside.
I emphasize again, it is free to join my community. The stocks I share are also free.
The techniques and strategies I teach are also free. So please don't ask me if I charge a fee, and don't say it's a scam. I only see popularity and word of mouth, not the so-called membership fee. If you want to get the stocks I offer, please.
Never get tired of LeBron
Now, we welcome in ESPN's new Warriors reporter, Anthony Slater, who's making his NBA Today debut as well. Yay! That's all around. Welcome, Anthony. No one has been closer to this team than you over the past several years. Kuminga's role has changed throughout his 4 seasons in the league. Currently, as of right now, what is Steve Kerr's perception of Jonathan Kuminga?
Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga, actually, I would categorize as having a decent personal relationship and even improving a little bit. Kerr has been in contact with Kuminga during this process, and I'd say he's one of the leading voices kind of trying to patch this together. But there's a lot of scar tissue, basketball scar tissue, which, has been referenced again on this show. And Kuminga knows that Steve Kerr would plan to play him a lot in the regular season. They would need him to score a bunch, especially with the older team when some of their stars sit. But Jonathan Kuminga also knows that Steve Kerr's history tells him he will go away from him in the playoffs at winning time in big games. And Jonathan Kuminga is no longer wanting to be a plan B, an alternative, a regular season option. He wants to be, a full-time featured guy in an offense. And as much as I think him and Kerr actually do generally get along personally, he knows Kerr's history and coaching him on the court, and that hasn't led to what he has wanted it to lead to.
Yeah, you and I were looking at the Warriors series. He basically didn't play. This Warriors team, by the way, has 9 players under contract for next season. They're going to have to fill out that roster at some point. What else do you think they're prioritizing before training camp, Anthony?
Yeah, Tim said it earlier. All signs point to Al Horford. They're certainly interested in him. I would say if they are not able to get that done, if Horford, who you hear is also mulling retirement, if he's not on the roster next year, it's a big miss by the Warriors because that's in their plans. They need a stretch 5. They're also looking for perimeter defense. There is mutual interest in a reunion with Anthony Melton, who played only 6 games for them last year before he tore an ACL, but it was a really good fit. Steph Curry likes him. They want some extra shooting. Another name I'm hearing for mutual interest, Steph Curry, at least, as a potential bench shooting option with a family tie. And then, the other thing they need athleticism, they need scoring. And Jonathan Kuminga fits that. It's clear Jonathan Kuminga is in their plans, but I'm not sure the Warriors are in Kuminga's plans, and that's what's still trying to sort it out.
Great stuff. Definitely seems like a fluid situation. Thank you again, Anthony, and welcome to the team. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Here's Hastings. Outside for Harden. Pass to Edwards. Harden with it. He's against Parker. And Harden gets it to go on the assist by Edwards. Harden's got 7.
Just simply creating offense. That's what James Harden is. He is the system.
And the call will be against James Harden. That's his first foul.
First team foul.
I finally fixed my Ring doorbell and switched to Safe Doorbell, and I honestly wish I had done this way sooner.
Russell Wilson named the starter, according to Brian Daboll, said, quote, guys will be out here competing, but Russ is the starter. Done. No more talking about that. Giants open up their season in Washington before going to Dallas, and then hosting the Chiefs. Is it the right move to name Russ the starter already? I don't get it. I know Russ is your guy, but Jameis is also your guy, and for all I know, you always like Jackson Dart. Just quiet. Oh, that happens sometimes. It's not as if the salary dictates. We just, you know what I mean? Everyone's going to know because he's making 35 and then Jameis making 4. I understand that someone has to take starter reps, but that can also alter. And I do not think that Russell Wilson's last 4 years, dating back to his final year in Seattle and the great Pete Carroll Brogdon and Islands, or certainly the last 3 years in Denver when Sean Payton, who everybody loves, was like, I can't get rid of you quickly enough. And when Mike Tomlin, who everybody loves, was like, we need to actually rather bring back Justin Fields because they offered him more money than they did Russell Wilson. That makes sense to just say, yeah, this guy's earned the job when he hasn't earned it yet. Now, I think he probably would win the job. Because Dart's more of a project like first-round pick, and Jameis, I just don't see what's gained by just announcing it's his job. I agree with you so much that I kind of think this means
Free throw
And maybe I'm over.
It's hauled in by the Raptors.
Went to camp like this. He had to big build up last year where he just automatically gets the job. Now I think you go in there with an open competition with Black first on the depth chart, and then see how it goes. Now I'm not one of those guys that believes just because you draft a quarterback that you like in the first round, second round, whatever, that you got to throw it right in. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they stacked their first year. So if they can sit their first year, anybody can sit their first year. I think a lot of quarterbacks would benefit from that. So I'm fine with having his mix and play the whole year and guard fit, but I would let it be a competition. And so I agree. The only thing that makes this like, yes, is that we know the coaching staff in front office is on the hot seat. They want to get out to a good start. And you know, you have a proven starter in Russell Wilson.
Buy anything good because we talk about the power of the music video. Just eliminating distractions. I'm going to answer this once. We're not going to get into it, but we're done. Like, let's move forward. And a little bit of the leadership of Russ. Like, Russ has to look over his shoulder, Jackson Dart.
No, that's fair. That's fair. He might be doing. I mean, I'm having to look over his shoulder, but you know, you squash it down.